King's Dragon by Kate Elliott kicks off the epic Crown of Stars series in a vividly imagined world inspired by medieval Europe. The story follows Alain, a humble peasant drawn into the brutal world of nobility and war, and Lyeth, a resourceful young woman with a mysterious past and dangerous knowledge that makes her a target for powerful factions. As their paths converge, they find themselves caught in a web of political intrigue, religious turmoil, and supernatural forces. The novel masterfully explores themes of power, destiny, and the eternal struggle between good and evil, set against a backdrop of epic battles and richly crafted characters.
Sorcery, like any other branch of knowledge, must be learned, used, and mastered. The young apprentice to the blacksmith does not begin by forging a fine sword for the prince. The young apprentice to the weaver does not with her first thread weave the queen's hearthrug. So the rhetor makes her first speech to her mirror, not to the marketplace, and the young man-at-arms fights his first battle against the tilt, not against his liege's mortal enemy. So did the blessed Dason proclaim the holy word for 21 years before even he mastered the art of prayer well enough that he might, by his own prayer and meditation, ascend to the chamber of light. Learn these things, Leah. You cannot use them, for you are deaf to magic, but you may think on them, you may practice them as if you were a mage's apprentice, and in time, you may have gained a sorcerer's knowledge. To master knowledge is to have power from it.
King's Dragon by Kate Elliott was published on January 1, 1997. It is the first book in the Crown of Stars series, which consists of 7 novels. The book was published by Legend and is available in various formats, including paperback, hardcover, and mass-market paperback.
King's Dragon and its series Crown of Stars by Kate Elliott delivers a masterful blend of political intrigue, supernatural elements, and intricate world building. Through the compelling journeys of Elliott and Lyeth in a medieval-inspired realm, the series offers a compelling exploration of power, loyalty, and the timeless struggles between good and evil. With its complex characters and immersive storytelling, this epic fantasy promises to captivate readers from start to finish. If you love rich plots and thought-provoking themes, The King's Dragon is a must-read that will leave you eagerly turning each page. Now let's see what the Deep Dive crew has to say about the first book, The King's Dragon. Buckle up.
Buckle up, folks, because today we're diving deep into a world of magic and dragons and political intrigue with Kate Elliott's King's Dragon, the first book in the epic Crown of Stars series.
A book that just throws you right into the action.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
We're talking Wender and Var.
A kingdom reminiscent of Europe.
Yeah.
In the Dark Ages, but with a fantastical twist. Dragons are not mythical beasts here. They're a living, breathing part of society.
And Elliott doesn't waste any time introducing us to our main protagonist. She's this young woman on the run, escaping a life in the church that was basically forced upon her.
And she's not just running from any ordinary life, is she?
Yeah.
She's fleeing a predatory priest.
Yeah.
And carrying a mysterious book that hints at a hidden lineage.
Yeah.
And powerful magical ability.
Right, it's like she's carrying this ticking time bomb of potential, but she doesn't even know how to defuse it.
Right.
And here's where it gets really interesting. She's what they call deaf to certain kinds of magic.
Oh, wow.
I mean, imagine being surrounded by music, but only being able to hear certain instruments. That's what it's like for Lyeth with magic. It's this unique ability that becomes super important throughout the series.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What are the limits of her deafness? Could it be more of a gift than a curse? Especially in a world where magic can be used for both good and evil.
Exactly. And just when Lyeth thinks she's finally free, she's recruited by the Eagles, an ancient order who served the king as spies and messengers. They seem to offer her protection and a purpose. But are they really any different from the church she just escaped?
That's the question that keeps gnawing at you, isn't it? Are they truly free agents or just another cog in the wheel of power? It makes their role in the story so much more complex and fascinating.
And we have Prince Anglant, the king's bastard son, and captain of the elite dragons.
Ooh, talk about a loaded title.
He's this charismatic leader, skilled warrior, but burdened by his illegitimacy, always striving to prove himself.
He's also got this undeniable connection with Lyeth, which is a problem considering their positions in the strict social hierarchy of this world.
Oh yeah, that forbidden romance angle definitely adds another layer of tension to the story. And just when you think things can't get more complicated, we're introduced to the Aika, a fierce and seemingly inhuman enemy. threatening the kingdom.
They're painted as these savage barbarians at first.
Right.
But there are hints that there's more to them than meets the eye. They have their own culture, their own magic system, and a chilling intelligence guiding them, a figure known as Bloodheart.
Ooh, Bloodheart. That name just sends shivers down my spine. We only get glimpses of him in this first part of the book, but it's enough to tell you he's a force to be reckoned with.
The Siege of Ghent, this pivotal event where the Aika launch a full-scale attack, really brings their threat to life.
And it's during that siege that we start to see the true potential of magic in this world.
Yeah.
Both its awe-inspiring power and its terrifying destructive capabilities. It makes you wonder, what exactly are the limits of magic in this world? What are these so-called forbidden arts that everyone seems to fear? And what happens to those who dare to practice them? We see hints of that with Praetor Hugh, the creepy priest who wanted to exploit Lilith for her powers. He's clearly a bad guy. But he also represents a darker side of magic that makes the whole system much more intriguing.
And don't forget Wolf here.
Yeah.
The seasoned eagle who takes Lion under his wing.
Yeah.
He's more open-minded about magic, but still recognizes its dangers. He's a great example of how even those who wield power responsibly are still walking a tightrope in this world.
Okay, so we've got a mysterious protagonist with hidden powers, a forbidden romance, a complex political landscape, and a terrifying enemy at the gates. It sounds like the perfect recipe for an epic fantasy adventure.
It certainly is, and the best part is this is just the tip of the iceberg. King's Dragon is packed with twists and turns that will keep you guessing until the very last page.
So if you're looking for a book that will completely transport you to another world, with characters you'll root for and villains you'll love to hate, then you absolutely have to check out King's Dragon
Yeah.
and the rest of the Crown of Stars series.
It's the kind of story that stays with you long after you finish reading, prompting you to ask big questions about power faith and what it means to be human in a world where magic exists.
And speaking of staying with, you stay with us. We'll be back in a moment to delve deeper into some of the more fascinating aspects of King's Dragon.
You know, one of the things that really struck me about King's Dragon
Yeah.
is how Elliott weaves magic into the fabric of this world. It's not just some flashy spectacle or a convenient plot device. It's a force that shapes characters, beliefs, and the very power dynamics of the kingdom.
Yeah, it's like magic is in the air they breathe.
Right?
And it's not always pretty. I mean, think about Lilith's deafness to magic.
Yeah.
It's his incredible ability that sets her apart, but it also makes her vulnerable in a way. It's like having a superpower you don't fully understand, let alone control.
Absolutely. And Elliott really plays with that tension. There's this scene early on where Lilith is watching the eagles train, and one of them, Hatui, uses magic to deflect a blow that should have been impossible to avoid. But Lilith doesn't sense anything. It's like she's missing a crucial piece of the puzzle. And that's both fascinating and unsettling.
It makes you wonder, what if everyone else is playing the game with a different set of rules?
Right.
What if Lilith's deafness is actually a key to unlocking a deeper understanding of magic itself?
That's the brilliance of Elliott's writing. She drops these little breadcrumbs that make you question everything you think you know. And then there's the whole question of the forbidden arts. It's this shadowy realm of magic that's shrouded in secrecy and fear.
Yeah. What makes these arts forbidden anyway?
Right.
Is it a religious taboo? A fear of uncontrolled power? I mean, we see the corrupting influence of magic with Praetor Hugh, the lecherous priest. But are all forbidden arts inherently evil?
That's the question that keeps gnawing at you, isn't it? And Elliott doesn't give us easy answers. She shows us how magic can be a tool for both good and evil. And it's up to the individual to decide how they wield it.
Which brings us back to Wolf here, the eagle, who mentors Lilith. He's clearly a good guy, but he's also got this pragmatic view of magic. He recognizes its dangers, but he's not afraid to teach Lilith what he knows.
It's almost like he's preparing her for a battle she doesn't even know she's fighting yet.
And that's what makes their relationship so compelling. He sees her potential, but he also understands the risks involved. It's a delicate balance between nurturing her abilities and protecting her from the darker side of magic.
Okay, so we've got this fascinating magic system with its forbidden arts and hidden potential. But it's not just about individual power, right?
No.
Magic is woven into the very fabric of society. Think about the dragons, these majestic creatures that are both revered and feared.
They're a symbol of power, but also a reminder of the delicate balance between humanity and the forces of nature. And they're not all benevolent, are they?
We see hints of their destructive capabilities, which adds another layer of tension to the story.
Yeah, it's like Elliott is saying, hey, look, Even the most powerful creatures can be dangerous if they're not respected. And that brings us back to the Aika, the enemy at the gates. They're portrayed as savage and brutal, but is there more to their story?
Remember, we're seeing them through the eyes of Wendar. What if their savagery is a response to oppression? What if they have their own reasons for fearing and hating magic?
That's a really good point. And it makes Bloodheart, their enigmatic leader, even more intriguing. We don't know much about him yet, but it's clear he's not just some mindless barbarian. He's a strategist, a leader, and possibly even an enchanter himself.
His motivations are shrouded in mystery, but his actions speak volumes. The Siege of Ghent is a masterclass in military strategy and psychological warfare. He uses deception trickery, and even the defenders' own fears against them.
It's chilling, isn't it? The way he manipulates Count Hildegard's banner.
Right.
To sow discord among the defenders. It's pure genius. And it makes you realize that this conflict is not just about brute force. It's about who can control the narrative.
Yeah.
Who can manipulate perception.
Exactly, and that's what makes King's Dragon so compelling. It's a story that challenges you to think beyond the surface, to question your assumptions, and to grapple with complex moral dilemmas.
It's also a book that rewards careful reading. Elliott packs so much detail into every scene, every conversation. There are layers upon layers of meaning to uncover. And I feel like we've only just scratched the surface.
It's like a tapestry, isn't it? Each thread represents a different perspective, a different story. And when you weave them all together, you get this incredibly rich and complex world.
And speaking of different perspectives, let's shift our focus to the personal journeys of the characters. Lyeth Sangland, even Bloodheart. They're all on these incredible arcs of self-discovery. It's amazing how Elliott balances these grand-scale conflicts, with the intimate personal journeys of her characters. Like Lyeth, for instance. She starts as this young woman, trapped by circumstances, fleeing a life she never chose.
And she's thrust into another restrictive role.
Right.
With the Eagles, yet even within those constraints, she begins to discover her own strength, her own voice.
I love how she embraces her unique ability. Her deafness to magic, it sets her apart, makes her question everything.
Right.
But it also gives her a unique perspective on this world where magic is so deeply intertwined with everyday life.
Then you have Sangland,
Yeah.
grappling with the weight of his royal lineage while constantly battling the stigma of his illegitimacy. He's torn between duty and desire,
Right.
especially when it comes to Lyeth.
Their connection is electric.
It is.
It's a dangerous game they're playing. The social barriers, the potential political fallout. It all adds to the tension, makes you root for them, even though you know it's probably doomed from the start.
And then there's the question that hangs over Sangland.
Yeah.
The mystery of his own humanity. His mother was a sorceress.
Right.
Which raises all sorts of questions about his true nature. Does he possess magical abilities of his own? Is he fully human? These are questions that keep you on the edge of your seat as the series unfolds.
It's like Elliott is constantly dangling these threads, these unanswered questions that make you desperate to keep reading.
Yeah.
And let's not forget Bloodheart. We only get glimpses into his past, his motivations, but you can sense this deep-seated anger, a thirst for revenge that drives him.
He sees himself as a liberator,
Yeah.
fighting against the system that has oppressed his people. But his methods are brutal, and his goals remain shrouded in mystery. It makes you wonder, is he truly a villain, or is he simply a product of the very world that created him?
One thing is for sure, Bloodheart is a force to be reckoned with. And what's so fascinating is that we get to see the story unfold from multiple perspectives. Lyeth Sangland, even Bloodheart, were privy to their thoughts, their struggles, their motivations.
That's one of the things that makes King's Dragon so captivating. It's a story told from multiple angles, forcing you to challenge your own assumptions and understand the complexities of this world where the lines between good and evil are often blurred.
This deep dive has really just scratched the surface of what King's Dragon and the Crown of Stars series have to offer.
There are so many layers to uncover, so many secrets waiting to be revealed. If you're looking for an epic fantasy adventure that will keep you guessing until the very last page, then I urge you to dive into the world of Kate Elliott's masterpiece. You won't regret it.
And that's our deep dive into the first part of King's Dragon. We hope you enjoyed this journey into a world of magic dragons and political intrigue. Subscribe to learn more about classic fantasy and sci-fi books. Till next time.